to run down on foundation, how to use it, how to wear it, why I love this one in particular. This is going to be simple. There are so many resources out there on all the different types of foundations and ways to apply it and all the different levels and things like that. This is my favorite. About 10 years ago plus, I mean, even when I just first started wearing makeup, I've always been like a full coverage matte girl. I've loved like full coverage. However, I found that I could not get most foundations to lay well on my skin, or it felt like they just couldn't match right. I've learned a lot along the way, but also about 2 or 3 years into switching my skincare routine, I felt like I didn't even need to wear foundation anymore. Like, I felt like my skin was so much more clear and so much more even that I could get away with simply a tinted moisturizer. So I don't even really wear foundation anymore, but there are some days where I want fuller coverage, I want a more matte finish, I just want like a little bit extra. And that is where this foundation comes into play. You can see it's well loved. Every single last drop gets used because it's an airless pump. I love that. It also doesn't let air in, and so it's not going to oxidize. It's going to stay bacteria free. So this type of packaging is incredible. This particular foundation is actually pigmented skincare, which is beneficial for a few reasons. It will not clog your pores. It's non-comedogenic. It's actually really good for your skin. It's got a very small molecular weight, and so it's not going to sit heavy and thick on the skin, but it actually melts into the skin. Also, because it's pigmented skincare, it will adjust to your skin, so it'll adjust up or down like 2 to 3 shades, which makes color matching super easy. And it also has the same long wear technology that the rest of the makeup that I use and share and love does, and so it will last all day. It's not going to transfer off, it's not going to break apart, as long as your skin is prepped properly. That is key. You need to prep with good moisturizer, and then I actually skip the primer with this one. It does not need a primer in order for it to grip to your skin and last all day. In fact, a primer can interfere with that long wear technology, and so skip the primer. If you do feel like you want a primer for filling in pores, fine lines, wrinkles, texture, things like that, there is a primer that goes with it. It's called Silk, and it's like spackle for your face. It fills in any large pores, fine lines, wrinkles, just kind of gives a smooth canvas. But as far as longevity goes, you do not need a primer with this foundation. To put a pump on the back of my hand, and then I'll take my brush. This is not my preferred brush. The brush that I like to use with it is actually this one. This is an F80 flat top, but mine are all dirty, so I'm just gonna go with this one. And I'm going to apply it on my skin. And I'm just kind of spreading it out. You could also like use your finger to spread it out. This foundation it's probably more medium but buildable coverage. So starting off, it is more of a medium coverage. You can build it up to be more coverage. You can get more coverage out of it actually 2 ways. One, you can layer it. So you can put a layer on, let that fully set, and then add another layer if you want more coverage. You can also layer it with a tinted moisturizer, a color correcting tinted moisturizer to like even out your base, and then put a layer of foundation over, or my favorite way to get a little bit more coverage out of it is I'll spread it all over my skin, let it start to dry down before I blend it out, and then I'll blend it, and that'll give it more coverage. So that's why I spread it out first instead of just like dipping my brush and starting to blend. That'll keep the coverage a little more light to medium, whereas spreading it out like this and then stippling it in will give me more of like medium to full coverage. All right, so it's had a little bit of time to dry, and I'm just going to use this flat brush. This is a F47 from Sigma. I actually do really like this brush a lot. I think it's great. Now the thing about a foundation versus a tinted moisturizer is it's going to like blank canvas your face. There's not a lot of sheerness to this, and so your skin is not really going to show through. Your natural skin won't show through. It's going to just make you all one color, which is great as far as coverage goes. However, you do need to make sure that you are adding back in color to your face, because no one is just all one color. You want to add back in the dimension with a bronzer and a blush. So you cannot skip that when using a foundation, otherwise you look a little bit ghostly. Whereas the tinted moisturizer that I use and love, I sometimes will just put it on with my fingers and just call it a day because it is sheer and a little bit more flexible, but foundation, I can't get away with that. All right, so here it is all blended in. Should we do a close-up? Okay, I think this is about as close as I can get, but you can see, I mean, this is as good as you can see. Obviously I have lights and it's a camera and everything, but hopefully you can see that it is such a light formula. It feels very skin-like on the skin. It's not heavy. It doesn't feel thick. It's super, super comfortable. And for the coverage that you get, it's incredible. Here's this side. No makeup versus this side, foundation. And this is the shade Dewy. And I think overall I use about a pump and a half because I just put out 2 pumps and I have extra on my hand, so I think I can get away with about a pump to a pump and a half, depending. Yeah, I could probably have gotten away with just 1 pump actually. Like I said, most days I just wear a tinted moisturizer. If I want a little bit more coverage from my tinted moisturizer, I'll just mix like a little drop or 2, not really, maybe like a 1/4 of a pump of foundation into my tinted moisturizer, and it totally gives it more coverage. It also gives it a more matte finish. This dries down to like a satin matte finish, whereas tinted moisturizer is a dewier finish. And so if you like a more matte finish too, this would be a great foundation. Okay, here we go. Wow, it's actually so weird to see my face with this much coverage on it because I do not normally wear this much coverage. Okay, well, there you have it. There it is. You can also use like a deeper shade for bronzer. So if you've watched any of my videos for bronzer, I usually use the deep tinted moisturizer as my bronzer. And so you can also do the same thing with foundation. If you want more matte bronzer with more coverage, a deeper shade of foundation works really, really well. They layer beautifully together because they're the same product, so they're not going to butt heads or they're gonna melt really well together. So anyway, that is foundation. Super simple, super easy. Of course, there's a few different ways that you can apply it. You can use your brush and just like spread it in. You can do pressing motion. You can like pick it up on your brush and press it into the skin. You can do what I did where you spread it with your finger and then press it in. So there's really no wrong way to apply this. It just depends on the type of coverage that you are going for. I hope you guys found that helpful. I will link everything in the description box below. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.